Hey, everybody. I'm Derek Mazzoni. Welcome to KEXP Live at Home. I do a show called Whoop Up. It's on every Tuesday from 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I play music from all over the world. And you can catch it live anytime you want on our website or on our app on your device of choice. We are, of course, living through very interesting times right now throughout the world. And we are based in Seattle, and often we have amazing artists from all over the world come by Seattle and play live in our studios right by the Space Needle. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now, so we're doing this particular program, and you can catch it anytime you want. It's an amazing way to make sure that we continue to fulfill our mission and bring you sounds and stories from artists all over the world. And today, it is a great pleasure to have right from Sao Paulo, Brazil, Seu.
Hey, Derek.
Hi, Seu. How's it going?
Thanks. I'm good. I'm doing well. I mean, in this pandemia, kind of crazy, but I'm fine.
I know. It's interesting saying that. It's like, how you doing? Usually it's like, yeah, I'm doing fine. But then you have to think like, wait a second. Am I really doing fine?
Exactly.
I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing fine. Let's see how it goes. So, Sao Paulo, one of the biggest cities in the world, amazing metropolis. In Brazil, one of the most amazing and beautiful countries in the world, all dealing with very interesting times. How is it going for you in Sao Paulo? How is, give us a little bit of a snapshot. What's life like right now? I mean, I take it restaurants are at half capacity. You're not getting a chance to play out live much. The political situation is complicated. What's going on?
Well, it's very complicated what we are living here because it's kind of impossible to have a real confinement, in São Paulo because we don't have the support of the government to stop our lives. So I am a person that has this privilege, but most part of people have to go out. So it's kind of sad, what we are living here, and our president doesn't think that it's serious what it's going on outside. So it's pretty much strange what's going on.
We're living parallel lives. Same situation
exactly.
here.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty much the same with states, right? We are kind of similar, but we are. I have my music at least, and I have this home studio. I can do some music. I can play, study. It's been great to study a lot and to try to recreate my life. Mm-hmm. And I think especially being with my kids, my family, which is something that I really like. And being on the road, it's not possible. So
no,
it's been great in a part.
Okay. Are your kids in school or are they at home going to school?
They are. I have a 2 years old.
They're not in school at all.
Boy in no school, and I have also a girl 12 years old, and she's doing classes through the computer, which is crazy for kids, right? Because it's super tiring, but she's okay. She's here.
Got it. I've got a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, two girls in the same situation.
So
it's just like,
you understand.
Completely understand. So because I want to hear a song, but then I want to ask you a couple of questions of like, how are you doing? How are you balancing this? Because you're a parent and you have to be available, but at the same time, when you're on the road, you're on the road. You're going to perform. And you're traveling, that's your focus. You're thinking about your family, but your focus is like there. So I'm curious. But let's start with the first song, if we can. Okay. And thank you for offering it to us.
That's great.
This is Arrastar-te-ei. This is Seu, live at KEXP at home.
No mar
So,
Yes.
live at KEXP at home. That was great. That was fun. And those earrings are off the chain, I must say. They're once my daughter sees those earrings, it's like, how do I get my hands on those? They're beautiful. What's the song about?
I wrote this song at Tropics Time, my fourth album, and it reminds me of the melodics and the rhythm of Afro sambas, which is a part of Brazilian music that I love so much. So it was a song that I dedicate to this vibe, Baden Powell and Vinicius style, but in my own environment, my own universe. And it talks about it's just a love song, but it's like as I became the sea, you know, in the relationship in a poetic way. It's hard to translate songs.
I get it. I totally get it. I just feel, for my audience, they're like, Portuguese sounds so beautiful. I have no idea what they're saying. And it's like, okay, I know that often it's poetry. I like to work with bands that they actually play music of Portuguese poets, Brazilian poets. And I'm like, the lyrics don't make any sense yet, but they're not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be the way you're actually feeling through this process. And it's like, okay,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, we were talking about work-life balance from an artist. You have a studio, you recorded that, it sounds great. You've got some musicians working with you. But I'm always curious as in like, okay, so you're a mom, you're working at home, your kids are there, and you're not on the road. You're not going out there. You're not, performing in front of your fans. How are you managing that? For some artists, it's great. I'm inspired more than ever. I'm looking at my kids. They're doing some amazing things, and I'm inspired. But I'm curious, how are you as a person dealing with this?
Yeah, it's a big challenge because it's what you said. You kind of you have to focus when you are, on your work, but with kids and everybody here, and even the I don't know this word in English, the mom of my husband, the word for that,
mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law, exactly. Yeah. She's here too, so like
grandma.
Yes. And it's being pretty intense, but I kind of like to, because even in the road is intense, so at least I am, watching my kids, and I really feel inspired too. I just have to sometimes like scream, "Don't come here, I'm working," like just right now.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm kind of worried if my little boy is like, he's super energetic and he can come, anytime, like, "Mom!"
Let's do it. Let's, those are the magic moments that we need right now.
It's what we have, and let's deal with that. Let's face it.
Yeah. Like, I had a friend that gave me this great quote, like, can we all just admit that where we thought we would be in 2020, 5 years ago, we all got it wrong. And we're now, and we're also becomes a question, like, what do you think is going to happen in 2025? Everything is up in the air. So it's curious in a context of musicians, singers, and writers. It's like songs come from interesting times, and this is an interesting time, and I'm super curious. You've got your record came out in 2019, and it's out on 6 Degrees right now. Great job here in the States. I'm curious where you think your music will continue to evolve from this. But before we go into that question, let's hear another song.
Yeah.
This is Pardo, which is pardon?
Pardo is a Caetano Veloso song. It's racial mixtures.
Interesting time for that song. Let's talk more about that later.
Okay.
So, live at KEXP at home.
Sobre a uvula, nego.
orixá poderá desmanchar o que houve lá. Pra que me quereres, homens e mulheres, por que tanto queres não me querer, querer? Sou parte e não tardo a sentir-me crescer o pretume. Sou parte e me ardo de amores por ti sem ciúme. Sou parte e não tardo a sentir-me crescer o pretume. Sou parte e me ardo de amores por ti sem ciúme de amores, nego. Mais rosa que rosa da mais rosa, rosa. Veio um beijo preto, sangue sob a pétala. Veio um papo reto, língua sob a uvula, nego. Nenhum orixá poderá desmanchar o que houve lá. Pra que me quereres, homens e mulheres, por que tanto queres não me querer, querer? Sou parte e não tardo a sentir-me crescer o pretume. Sou parte e me ardo de amores por ti sem ciúme. Sou parte e não tardo a sentir-me crescer o pretume. Sou parte e me ardo de amores por ti sem ciúme de amores, nego. Poderá desmanchar o que houve lá. Pra que me quereres, homens e mulheres, por que tanto queres não me querer, querer? Sou parte e não tardo a sentir-me crescer o pretume. Sou parte e me ardo de amores por ti sem ciúme. Sou parte e não tardo a sentir-me crescer o pretume. Sou parte e me ardo de amores por ti sem ciúme de amores, nego.
So,
Hey,
live on KEXP at home. That was beautiful.
thank
That
you.
was Kitano Veloso, and okay, let's reverse. Let's talk about that first, because
Okay.
what was the inspiration in playing that song about mixing?
About this last song.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I was kind of crazy because I just wrote Caetano and asked him a new song, and I'm super fan of him, as everybody is.
Yeah.
You know, he's an idol, but you know, yeah, someday I just decided, and he super sweet answered and said, "Okay, I'm gonna write a song for you," and he wrote that song, and which is a song that describes a relationship between two guys in Bahia. It's a homosexual relationship between a Pardo and a black guy.
And what is a Pardo?
Pardo is a white and black. It's a mestiço. It's
Like a Creole, like a...
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of, and but also brings the northeast part of Brazil. Pardo. It's kind of hard to explain because Brazil it's a huge country with so many multiple races here, and it's interesting what's happening right now because that was something that somehow made Brazil always to be in this fake thing of no, doesn't exist racism here because everybody is mixture and but this is absolutely not true, and that's why now it's so important to talk about that, and it's necessary, and Caetano is making a reflection about being mixtured and love someone, and it's in a poetic Caetano's way, and somehow for me it was super important to sing because we are in this moment now, and to think about that, to talk about that, to be able to rethink about races in Brazil, and to separate, to then after we can talk about a new, maybe a time without racism, because if you have everything mixture and doesn't exist race, it's the racism will never end here in Brazil, because everybody's together, and this is just fake. Racism here in Brazil is violent and is happening, so we have to talk about that.
Is Brazil, I mean, this is a more political question, but is Brazil ready to have that conversation? The reason I bring it up is I've been talking to I've talked to Bongad, I talked to some other groups, and they're I know when George Floyd was lynched here, there was huge reaction in Brazil, and Brazil has a huge, it's a gigantic African population in Brazil, Afro-Brazilian, but it's complicated because you've got the indigenous populations, and you're right, there is a huge, Sao Paulo has a huge Japanese, Italian, there's and everybody's mixed, but it's still racist. It's still the power structure is people that look like this go up, and the darker it's real, but there's in the States here right now, we're having that conversation. We thought we were having that conversation years ago, but we're not. We're now starting to really have that conversation. Is Brazil having that conversation right now, or is it just not there yet? It's
just the very beginning of a long road that we have to walk. I feel that we started. I really feel that there is very important people, on the social medias that are doing a fantastic, work and releasing out books and that there is this fantastic girl. Her name is Djamila Ribeiro. She's a philosopher, she's a teacher, she's just great, and she's working hard on it, and she was invited for this super huge actor, super famous guy, and to occupy his Instagram account, and she started to talk and talk. So there is a very interesting movement happening here, a strong, but as you said, Brazil is huge, and I don't really feel that we are ready because we don't even have school for everybody. There's people we're hungry. We still have this. So but I think it's just the beginning, and if I can do something for to help and to be to communicate about this, I will do my part, and I'm trying to. I'm learning a lot too. So, but we are just in the beginning. Yeah.
We are too, and it's which leads me back to my initial question before we started the song, is like, this is a really intense time for artists to absorb all the changes and create music with this, and it becomes interesting in a context when I talk to other artists who, let's say, made a record last year, and the record is all about everything is great, I love this person, look at my beautiful car and my house. It's like nobody really, that's not the right song for this time.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, I feel for them, but I'm also curious looking at artists right now is like, what are you learning? What is the thing? And it might not be anything yet. It might be like, I'm just still like, as you say, like learning, I'm getting, everything is changing. But I'm curious is in, what are some of the things that are coming up for you as in like, wow, I should write about this or I should perform about this?
For sure, yeah. Well, Forçar o Verão, one of the songs of Apkai, it's a super political and a song that talks about what was going to happen and just happened. So I'm kind of, I'm happy that Apkai, somehow I was linked with the time that I...
Yeah.
But now, I've been writing a lot, and that there is this interesting thing that happened to me. This fantastic artist here in Brazil, huge, Emicida is a rapper. He has this collective which is Laboratório Fantasma, and they want to empower Black people and people that lives in a vulnerability situations to come and to be on the TVs channels, and so they are like building something super strong, and then invited me to be on the on their net, and so I have a program, a live program here every Wednesday. So this is something that it's super crazy for me, because I never thought that I was going to do this. I'm a super musical person, just music, and then I will be in front of the cameras interviewing people, and so this is something that reinvented me on the pandemia, and I think it's fantastic to be by the side of these kids, because they are building a new Brazil, So I wanted to learn with them, and I want to be able to talk and to listen and to, maybe, I don't know. Let's do what is happening. Like, let's face all the new challenges, and always writing music. Always, I don't.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yep. And it's a time to learn. It's a time to listen. We're getting that. I'm personally, us as an organization and other organizations, we're in that reality right now. Let's hear this. Let's hear another song. Arrastar-te-ei.
Yeah.
I got it pronounced right. Seu, live at KEXP at home. And before we go into the song, I want to remind everybody, and you also send me a link to the philosopher and that Instagram account you're talking about.
Great.
And also to that collective right now, because we would love to be able to share that with our audience.
Great.
So let's hear
Fantastic.
another song from Seu, from Sao Paulo, live at KEXP at home.
Se aproxima do cartão postal, feito convidado que ninguém quer receber, mas quando ele vem, não quer mais sair. Num sorriso debochado, estaciona ali. Virando Ipiranga, quem foi que ouviu? Eu não vi. Estava à sombra de um coqueiro, no céu azul anil, e o tempo fechou e ninguém viu. Derrubando a rima, fez-se então frio no Brasil. Pare de forçar o verão. Pare de forçar o verão. Uma nuvem se aproxima do cartão postal, feito convidado fechado estaciona ali. Oh, virando Ipiranga, quem foi que ouviu? Eu não vi. Estava a sombra de um coqueiro no céu azul anil e o tempo fechou e ninguém viu. Derrubando a rima, fez então frio no Brasil. Pare de forçar o verão. Pare de forçar o verão. Pare de forçar o verão. Pare de forçar o verão.
All right. So, live on KEXP at home. Forza Vera, what is the song about? Unless it's poetry, then we can extrapolate on that.
This it's the translating of this title is forcing the summer. It's like stop being just a postal card, and you know, and face that things are not doing well here in Brazil, you know, because this thing of everything is just fantastic, our nature, and stop forcing that.
Okay, so force the
summer.
That's powerful right now, even though it's a fun dance song and everything. But that begs the initial question that we talked about. It's like, how are you coping? Some people are like, it's fine. Other people are like, oh, I can't look, etc. And it's interesting because it's like the States right now. You know, a lot of my friends are like, wow, I can't believe these countries for years. Like, how can they survive? And now it's like they're very quiet because they see that you can actually survive with political uncertainty to a point. And the same thing is going on in Brazil. But one of the things I wanted to talk about with you right now is that Brazil is a gigantic country. And one of the things I like to stress with the KEXP audience is that Brazil is in Rio. You have Sao Paulo, you have Recife, Fortaleza, you have Pernambuco, you have Salvador. These are like, you know, that's like a continent. And then that's just, you know, that's just one part. You go, you know, you head west. It's a whole other world out there. And so... you know, I'm always asking artists if you could describe Brazil. You know, if you had a moment, it's like, what is Brazil? What's going on in Brazil right now? Because I've always thought of Brazil in this as like a country of the future, not politically, not, you know, economically, but there's something about the country where if you move to Brazil, if you've been there, whether you're Japanese, Italian, Polish, Chinese, etc., your identity becomes Brazilian. There's something about it that the first thing happens is that you're Brazilian, where in other countries, you're kind of like Chinese or you're Polish or you're, you know, French, etc. But something about Brazil turns you into a Brazilian first. Then the other thing later. Would you agree? Do you think I'm crazy?
No, I absolutely agree. That's funny to think in this point of view. That's interesting. Yeah, you know, we are multiple. We have so many cultures, you know. As you just said, Brazil is not Rio de Janeiro. Rio is just a really small part. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. I mean, in my opinion, it's the most beautiful city in the world, you know. And I'm not from Rio. I'm from São Paulo, born and raised here, which is kind of ugly city, but the city of opportunities to work here. Yeah. People here work hard. It's a city that doesn't stop, and it's crazy, it's chaotic. But I love to live here somehow. And so São Paulo and Rio are just the southeast of Brazil, which is the kind of the richest and the most popular. But we have the entire Brazil. We have the north part, which is fantastic. The food, best food in the world. I'm suspect, but I'm a big fan of this country. But what the thing here is, we grow a lot without any structure, and the corruption here is like killing, and people doesn't have educations and politicals. They are investing on not having education because they want people still voting in the wrong person. So it's a vicious cycle.
It's a circle, yeah.
Super hard, to break. But the roots of this, it's fantastic. Our weather, our people are great. We are super receptive with the cultures, and somehow it's just as you said. When you come here, you become a part of this thing, and because it's. I don't know exactly why, but there is something so warmful about the people here, and maybe because of that, because there is connection between people, but there is also the hard part. So it's a super complex place, but I still believe, But
you love it. You have hope.
I have hope. But in terms of comparing to Europe, and we are super young with Americas.
Yeah.
We have a lot to walk, but it's been tragic. But I still believe on Brazil for sure. I think we are just starting.
Yeah, I mean any other country, it's like you look at its history. It's like really, so you were always smart. You always could figure it out. It's like no.
Mm-hmm.
Every country goes through that, but I find within Brazil that it's kind of like one of the countries of the future, and it's like if everybody, it acknowledges the heritage of the people where they came from, but it allows them to be part of its own national community. And yes, racism, yes, problems with indigenous people, political corruption and everything, yes, that's there, that's everywhere. But there's something about it that I find really inspiring. Let's hear another song, if we can. This is Lendo, which is
Lendo from the first album.
Seu, live at home on KEXP.
Yeah.
Tome tento, fique esperto. Hoje não tem papo. Jogo-lhe um quebrante. Num instante você vira sapo. Mobiona, crença, príncipe. Volta ao seu posto de lenda. E tome tento, fique esperto. Hoje não tem papo. Jogo-lhe um quebrante. Num instante você vira sapo. Mobiona, crença, príncipe, volta ao seu posto de lenda. Seu nome na boca do sapo, sua boca. Seu nome na boca do sapo, sua boca. Sua boca na minha. O resto é boi dormindo, história errada de carochinha. E tome tento, fique esperto. Hoje não tem papo. Jogo de um quebrante. Num instante você vira sapo. Mobiona, crença, príncipe. volta ao seu posto de lenda. Seu nome na boca do sapo, sua boca. Seu nome na boca do sapo, sua boca. Que já tá feito, tá mandado pro seu trono, tá plantado, fica acerca de mim. Na boca do sapo, sua boca na minha. O resto é boi dormindo, história errada de carochinha.
That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
So, live on KEXP at home, I'm Derek Mazzoni. Thanks for playing a range of songs from your repertoire. Sometimes artists, you know, I hate saying this, they forget. You know, it's like, they're like, oh yeah. Like I remember we're throwing a show and an artist, I'm not going to mention names, artist had to go to the record store and get the record to listen to it again because
Oh my God.
chose to. I mean, it's people, you know, it happens, but...
Yeah, it's
You know.
funny. Yeah, I think we go really deep into our latest thing and sometimes forget our, you know...
Yeah,
but-
where it came from. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, okay, so how do we deal with this? We could talk for hours. You know, there's so much that's going on right now, which is awesome, and it's also incredibly, you know, strange time, but it's also a hopeful time. And Sao Paulo is an interesting place because we're in Seattle here. We have a lot of technology industries,
I
and
love Seattle.
Thank you. Most of the people that are here from Brazil are from Sao Paulo. You know,
Really?
because they work in the tech sector, and so they're here, and it's interesting. And the Cariocas and the Paulistas, they love each other, but there's also some
Yeah,
a little bit of
there
like
is.
the Cariocas think that the Paulistas are just boring. All they do is work.
You guys have this too at some place like Seattle.
Yes, yes, we have a different city on the east side where all the technology companies are, but there's no clubs, there's no restaurants, and you know,
Okay.
but it's different now, you know, because everything is going through this really intense economic
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody's
strangeness.
equal.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to kind of like what to start with. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. How are musicians surviving? Are they surviving? Because Brazil is known for a lot of things, you know, carnival, football, etc. But it's known for its music. Like, you know, the first time Brazilian music was heard, you know, in many ways is Carmen Miranda, and continues to be, and in some countries they realize that, and so they're supporting, you know, the full industry, everything from places to rehearse, to venues, to clubs, to how is that going on in Sao Paulo or in Brazil, in your eyes right now? How are musicians surviving?
I would love to, you know, to give you good news, but no good news. I mean, in music here, we don't have any support, so it's pretty sad what's happening with people, you know. I mean, if you are huge, if you are on the soap opera soundtracks, or if you're in the big, you know, the channels like super pop, then okay, you will still have your, you know, work.
Yeah.
And but for major artists that I know, you know, we don't, no support at all. And it's crazy, you know. I did like lives, I know, and all the money that I received, I gave to the musicians, the techniques, because these professionals,
It's true.
yeah. So I was super worried, you know, and because at least I am a composer, and I have this, you know, thing that comes in my in my
Publishing, yeah.
Exactly. So it's hard. It's really hard, to work with art in Brazil, not only with music, but art in Brazil, no support at all. You have to be super passionate, you have to have passion and something inside of you, because I don't recommend, Now I understand why my father, when I told him that I wanted to be a singer, he was...
So it's like, that's true.
No.
That's true. And your husband is also a musician and a
Yeah,
producer too.
he's the drummer in the videos, Pupilo. He's producer, he's musician, he works with people big, like huge artists here, which...
Yeah,
it's
and
great
soundtracks and stuff like that. I've been a fan for a while. Who are the musicians in the videos? Let's give them some love. I kept, like, every time I see the videos, like, I gotta get their names. Who are the musicians in the videos?
Let's begin with Pupilo, which is the drum guy and a fantastic producer. Produced my 2 albums, Tropics and Apka. Mm-hmm. And the other kid playing bass and guitar is my friend since first album, that plays fantastic. He's brilliant, which is Lucas Martins. Great friend, great musician, fantastic person.
Great, so you've got a good community. Let's hear one more song. Let's hear Coreto. Seu, live at KEXP, at home.
Eu sou a voz que balançou teu coreto. Eu prometi não estremecer mais. Teu coração já nos provou não ter sustento pra suportar a erupção de uma voz incandescente como as lavas de um vulcão. Mas você petrificou tudo que queimava. Trate de se resolver, pois agora tô cantando mais que nunca o que é flora. Eu quero ser a sua trilha, quero tocar na sua rádio. Over my eyes, 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 over my eyes. Eu sou a voz que balançou teu coreto. Eu prometi não estremecer mais. Teu coração já nos provou não ter sustento pra suportar a erupção de uma voz incandescente como as lavas de um vulcão. Mas você petrificou tudo que queimava. Trate de se resolver, pois agora tô cantando mais que nunca o que aflora. Eu quero ser a sua trilha, quero tocar na sua rádio. Over my eyes, 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 over my eyes.
All right, that was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coreto. Seu, live on KEXP at home. Thank you for being here. Thanks
It
for
was
sharing.
a pleasure. Thank you so much. It was always great to be with you. Thank you.
I look forward to having you come up to Seattle. I look forward to seeing you in Sao Paulo. And you were supposed to be in Budapest right now, right? For Womex also?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to go too. But we'll do it again. I think, once whatever the future is going to be, people are going to want to travel. People want to get together. And if, if the energy we're talking about here and the intention manifests itself, whether our generation or the next one, it's going to be a beautiful world, We shall see.
I hope so.
Hearts
I
open,
hope so.
all of those things.
Exactly.
So thanks once again. I want to thank you musicians. I want to thank our amazing KEXP video crew, an audio crew. And this is Derek Mazzoni, live at KEXP at home.
Thank you.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.